There you go. You're not in the video.
Okay. Well, here is the issue discussion about wolf hunting. According to my source from the Star Tribune, the wolf hunt began just after the wolves had been taken off of the endangered species list, and there was supposed to be a 5-year waiting period before a hunt could begin in 2011 when they were taken off, but the legislature just decided to remove that and not do that at all.
I think that that's wrong, first of all, that they didn't live up to their promises, because they said that they were going to wait 5 years to have a hunt, but then we decided to have the hunt in 2012, only 1 year after they were off the endangered species list. So I think there shouldn't be a wolf hunt anymore. Even with all the economic benefits that there might be, it's not worth it for the environment.
I would agree. Alex, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I don't think that the purpose of the endangered species list isn't to keep animals from being hunted until you can hunt them again. It's so that the animals can go back to where they should be, like their populations. And if we're just hunting them a year after we took them off, it's like they're just going to go on the endangered species list again. And that it's like it was just didn't work how it was supposed to work.
Does anyone know how many wolves were actually killed in the wolf hunt this past year?
There is a specific limit of 400 wolves in Minnesota that are supposed to be, that there's a limit of 400 wolves per hunting season, and that was reached this in 2012. Yes, that was reached in 2012. So they do have it under a limit of the amount of wolves that can be hunted in a specific season. So it's not like they're just sending people out into the woods and just being like, okay, go and kill however many wolves you want to. They have a limit on them. So in that sense, it's probably okay. And it even says that in the Star Tribune article again that quota was from a population of about 3,000 is what it said, and that it will not hurt the state's wolf population, and that was from a DNR spokesman, Chris Niskanen. And he also went on to say that some of the best wolf experts in the nation have given it their blessing. So I guess it can't be all that bad if the DNR is saying that it's not that bad.
I find that hard to believe, though, if the wolves just came off the endangered species list last year, and by hunting 400 wolves this year, that won't hurt their population more.
No.
Because we need as many wolves as possible at this point, I think. I'd be interested to hear about the economical impact of all of this, too.
Yeah, it would be. Well, actually, it's. My source also said that $531 million come from tourism of wildlife viewing and help support 13,000 jobs in Minnesota. So wolf hunting can really put
A damper on
that's the word I was looking for. Can really put a damper.
Economy.
Exactly. Can really put a damper on the economy and can cause a lot of people to lose jobs. And in my opinion, I think if we're putting people's enjoyment over people's jobs, then I think that's definitely not okay.
I don't think all that money and all those jobs come purely from wolf hunting. That comes from a lot of different wildlife and tourism aspects in Minnesota as well.
There's still birds.
That's true. Yeah.
Birds and deer
And speaking of deer, wolves hunt deer, and if we're hunting the wolves, then there are less wolves to kill the deer, and so then there's more deer to watch. So really,
That is true.
the tourism might go up if there are less wolves.
There's also more deer to be killed, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
That is true. There would be more deer to hunt than
Yeah.
if you started taking away the wolves. That is also very true. My source also said from the Star Tribune, someone from the Minnesota State Cattlemen's Association said that returning wolves to the endangered list could threaten the livelihoods of some 7,000 families that raise more than 250,000 cattle in Minnesota's wolf range, where livestock kills are on the rise. So returning them to the endangered list would keep more wolves in the economy, and they'd go, like, you know how wolves will hop a fence or something at night
Yeah.
and go and kill the people's cattle and stuff, which they sell, and that's how farmers make money. So that's another thing to look at, I suppose, when you're
But that's a circle of life.
that's how wolves eat.
That's a circle of life. So if we're going to say, let's kill wolves just so that we can have another 30 billion pounds of meat from a factory farm, or just like processed meat that we don't actually need as society, I feel like we should really look at the environmental issues at hand, and like how it's like if you're not going to eat the wolf, it's just for like recreation. I don't think that it's worth anything just killing a wolf just for fun, especially since there's not very many of them. And if we're not careful with the balance that all of nature has, then we're going to destroy it and ourselves. So there will be no money.
And also,
no humans.
going off that cattle thing, it's really selfish of humans to say, like, well, it's not fair for the wolf to kill that cow and eat it to feed it and its, like, pack, but it is fair for us to kill that cow
And eat it.
to eat it and feed our pack, which is our family. So, it's just really selfish of us to, like, think we're the best like that when the wolf wants to eat just as much, probably more than we do.
Because we're not endangered and
'Cause
the
we're
wolves
not-
actually
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
They need
That
to
is a good
survive.
point.
And we can always just, like, go to Super America and buy, like,
Alright.
chips. But the wolf can't.
You're right.
The state of Minnesota isn't like the only provider of like meat either.
Mhm.
You could always
There's always more meat.
But I mean, are wolves in Kansas? Like, are they in Texas? Like, are they other places? I feel like up north is where a lot of wolves are.
I think up north is where the majority of the
Right.
wolves are, because every article that I found was all about the upper Midwest and like the Great Lakes region and
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
So I think this all comes down to like a moral value over an economic value. Like, should we continue the wolf hunt to make our economy and our government thrive, or should we allow the wolves to live and create their own population, even though it would hurt our economy slightly?
It wouldn't, I don't even know if letting the wolves live would hurt our economy. It just wouldn't boost it. I mean, it's already hurting, and it's kind of like a Band-Aid for the wound.
Yeah.
But there are many other Band-Aids that we could put on our wound. We don't have to put this wolf hunting. It's not the only way to fix the problem. There are a lot of other ways that we could fix it.
That is true.
What's your other source about, Paul?
My other source is from, this one's from the New York Times, I believe. Yes, this one's from the New York Times. And it said in the New York Times that there's a lot of, it said the Humane Society is going to sue the Fish and Wildlife Service because they put the, because they took the wolves off of the endangered species list, and the Humane Society was kind of feeling like they took them off a little bit early, and they had just kind of reached that point to where they could be taken off the endangered species list, and they kind of feel like maybe they should have waited a little bit longer to take them off the list, just to make sure that they weren't going to start decreasing in population again.
Rightfully so. I agree with that.
Now, going back to that whole thing where they said they were going to wait 5 years to start hunting them after taking them off the list, and then they decided to just not do that, then that's kind of not cool. It also says that in the United States, I think it's about the United States. It says, yeah, in the United States, that today wolf numbers have grown to 4,000, and I guess they've exceeded the recovery goals in the western Great Lakes area, which is according to federal estimates. So it says here that they have exceeded the recovery goals, so then do you guys think that
They've
it's
only
okay to be hunting them?
they've only exceeded the recovery goals because people were not hunting them and adamant about their recovery. And by us just working so hard to get to a certain point with the wolves and then saying, okay, go ham, and shoot them, only to 400, but still 400 is a big percentage of like 3,000, whatever, how many wolves there were that you said.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's taken a step back after everything that we've worked hard for. And I know that people have to pay to hunt the wolves, and that money goes back into our economy and helps us, but I think the direct impact would be having that tourism, that fact that you had about how there are so many different jobs that go around, like nature reserves and tourism with the nature
Parks.
and parks and stuff, that I think that's a direct impact on the economy, not just taxes on like a wolf hunting license and stuff like that.
Also, why should we stop their growth at a certain number? Like, why don't we stop other animals at certain numbers too? Why wolves? How come we have to say like, oh well, wolves, you're different than these other animals, and we're gonna let them live freely, but you can only have 3,000 in Minnesota.
Because they're dangerous to the cows, like we were talking about.
They're dangerous to the livestock of other farmers, and I don't think that. I mean, are deer dangerous to livestock of other animals or ducks?
Well, they can be dangerous to like plants, like to corn.
That is
a deer
true.
could eat
They
the corn.
could break into a farmer's.
Yeah, and that's a
stuff,
nuisance. And a
that
nuisance is also a wolf eating your cow. It's a nuisance. That's what happens.
That is true. So are you saying like, if they were to put them back on the endangered species list, then you would feel like they're receiving special treatment compared to
I just don't think
other
that
animals?
we should like take a whole population of a certain type of animal and say we're only going to let this number live because they were here long before us. If anything, we need to cap humans. But that's so wrong, and no one would ever think about that. But that's what we're doing to the wolves.
That is a good point.
People do think about that.
Yeah, I think about that.
People, like, it does happen where human population shouldn't go above 1 or 2 kids per household.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's logical in the logistics sense of things. So why not do that with wolves as well? Because there's so many humans, and there has been in other places of the world where you can't have more than 2 kids, and it's probably helped their population and like brought it down, and it's less enormous. And now with the wolves, if we're worried about them getting really enormous and eating all of the livestock, then there should be a placement of like a high number where you can't go above.
One other thing that this source talked about is someone was saying that people, like, what are the wolves even used for after they're hunted?
Yeah.
I feel like Because, I mean, I've never heard of anybody eating a wolf before. Have you guys heard of someone eating a wolf
I mean,
before?
It might happen, but
I mean, it probably
It's not.
might, but I don't go walking into grocery stores and get your fresh wolf over
Yeah, you
here
see
or anything.
venison.
Exactly,
Yeah.
we see the deer meat and stuff, and the only thing that I've heard about people doing with wolves is like skinning them and then
making rugs,
yeah, stuff like that. Just
hanging them on their wall.
hmm But then I feel like just using it for their skin. I mean, I've never seen. Have you ever seen somebody hanging their like a decapitated wolf head up on their wall like they do with
Deers.
moose and deer and stuff like that? I just kind of feel like it's a waste of hunting them because they're not used for
Meat.
very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It's
they
one
could
thing
use
to
them.
hunt a deer and
Mhm.
eat them.
Yeah, because you're still using the animal
something
to a
out of
purpose.
it, yeah.
Exactly, but just I feel like if people are going to hunt wolves, then they should probably eat them too, like they do with the ducks and they do with the deer. And I don't know what a wolf tastes like, but
Chicken.
chicken, probably
I think-
chicken.
I think, like, I completely agree with you, but it's not for anybody to tell anybody else what they can and cannot do with their hunts. I feel it's a freedom. So if you're allowed to, like, are you thinking, like, maybe putting, like, if you're only going to eat the wolf, you can hunt it, or if you're only going to use it for, like, necessities or, like, things you need? Because we don't live in, like, a hunter-gatherer, like, community anymore. And so it is what people do for fun. People go up north, and then they're going to hang out with their son or their uncle, and they're going to go hunting, or, like, or pheasants, or deer, or wolf. And I don't think it's for anybody else to tell anybody what they can and cannot hunt if it's their, like, passion. You know, I wouldn't want somebody to tell me I can't skin a wolf for my rug because I really want that rug.
that's understandable. Probably bother me too.
Yeah.
You guys have anything you want to add about that?
Not about that specifically. I just kind of want to revisit, like, I don't know. Like, does anyone know if the wolf hunt is going to continue next year?
That's what it's sounding like right now. Is
Okay.
they're going to continue it? That there hasn't been anything that's come out about them putting the wolves back on the endangered species list and stopping the wolf hunt and everything. And either way, regardless what they do with anything, they're always going to have people angry because you can never please both sides. That never works.
There's actually a bill floating around Congress right now in Minnesota that is going to give them that 5-year window again.
Oh, really?
That they're like, it's not like passed or anything, but it's there and they're talking about it, and it's going to like ban wolf hunting for 5 years.
So they are going to reopen that.
Well, they're
thing with
thinking
the
about it.
legislature.
and People are trying,
Legislature, yeah.
but I don't know if it's going to pass or not. Like, we'll have to wait and see, but they're definitely trying. It's definitely the possibility.
Do you think that would be a good thing to wait 5 more years and then go ham on the wolves?
No, I mean, I don't think we should ever just go ham on the wolves. I think we should let the wolves be wolves.
For the economy, though.
I mean, is it really that big of an impact on the economy selling 400 tags to kill wolves? Like that number you said, $530 million in the nature.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, and I mean, obviously that includes like other things, not just wolves, but I don't
Yeah.
think that there's anything getting anywhere close to that just selling 400 tags. Like, I don't know the price, but it can't be more than a few $100 to $1,000 for one. So that's like $4,000 or $400,000. Like, that's not even a dent in any economy.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
I think we just need to look at the percentage of wolves, like how much 400 is, and 400 wolves out of 3,000 is like just over 13%. So it sounds a lot worse than it is, like how many wolves we actually are killing. So it just depends on like how much their population grows over the non-hunting season, like through the spring or whatever, and then, because I don't think the cap will always stay at 400 either. I think they'll fluctuate depending on,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they should definitely set the cap lower, I think. I mean, if they're going to have a wolf hunt, don't set the limit for over 10% of a population.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, if you take out 10% of a population, you could unintentionally kill like all males, and then I mean, you're running like
That
it's
is
harder
a
to
good point.
reproduce when you just take out like a whole big chunk of like the wolves, you know. So if that did happen, like the wolves might never rebound again,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're gone, and then it's like, oh well, shouldn't have hunted them.
Then it would be all our fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be interesting to know how many wolves actually come back from the, like after this season. Because it says in here that in Minnesota there were 3,600 licenses available to hunt up to that 400 wolf quota. And when that 400 wolf quota was hit, then that would reduce the state's population numbers by about 15% of the normal population that was there beforehand. So it would be kind of interesting to,
See how that plays out.
yeah, just to see what happens afterwards, a couple of years, and how many of the wolves actually bounce back from that, and if this does help the population out, or if it doesn't help the population
Like,
out. That's
can they
probably,
regain that 15% again?
that's what'll be interesting to find out, and probably something that we won't really be able to tell until we've had a couple of years to see how it rebounds off of that.
So I think it might be a good idea to stop the wolf hunt again. Just use this year as like an example, then wait for 5 years again. And
See how
like this was just like our test year or whatever,
Yeah.
and then
Mm-hmm.
we
Maybe-
can see what happened and see if it would benefit us more.
Maybe we could do 1 year out of every 5 years where we would hunt the wolves. Because I feel
Yeah.
like just saying, oh, you can hunt wolves now is a little too much. But, like, shooting or killing 15% of the population every year isn't,
they'll be going.
yeah, isn't that great. But if we
Mhm.
did 15% this year, like we did just this year, then we wait until a couple years and then we try it again. And we definitely, like, revisit, like, how it's affecting the economy and how it's affecting the wildlife standpoint. I think that would be a good, like, compromise maybe, just to see, just like to dip your toes in the water to see how it's going instead of just plunging right in.
That is a good point.
So, do you think that we should, do you think, like, the law should pass that there's a 5-year wait?
In conclusion, I do think that they should get that 5-year wait thing back, just because that's what they had originally said that they were going to do when they took them off the endangered list, was that they were going to give them that 5-year waiting period of you cannot start hunting wolves until 5 years after they're taken off the endangered species list. And I think that because they said they were going to do that, that they should have honored that
Yeah.
and stuck with that. And wolf hunters can whine and complain all they want to, but I think that it would be fair to the
Wolves.
the wolves, yes, and all the people who are trying to protect them, if they would live up to what they said they were going to do. All right, good deal.
Show him, show him.
Nice, that was a good, solid discussion, you guys.
Show him your wall.
Hi, Bordwell.
Oh, hobble.
I'm slowly hobbling over here. Just have to show you my lovely Packers wall over here. I've got all of these nice things up here. I thought you would just love to see these. I've got Ray Nitschke over on the far. It's the left on your camera, but it's the right on mine. And then we have 3 Brett Favres and another Brett Favre on the side of that. That's pretty special. And then I don't have a wolf to hang up on my wall, but okay, this whole backwards thing is really driving me nuts. But these are our stock certificates that certify that we are owners of the Green Bay Packers. There's one for my dad, and there's one for me. Yeah, we're kind of a big deal. And then there's more Packer stuff up here. And then more down there.
Should we just chill and have
It's loaded. That was my first time at Lambeau.
Alright, bye Boardwell.
I'm so tiny!
Bye.
Where'd you go? Oh, there you are.
Okay, end it.
Bye.